Hey guys, what is up? Today I come to you yet with another weekly review of Days, and for the most part this episode hit you right in the feels, especially what happened to Kasahara Senpai. Just to get a brief lay down on who he is. He was introduced, I believe, back in episode 2, but we got a little bit more into his character in this episode, and one word just really explains who he is, and he's just a really genuine person. Like, you see this guy and you automatically can feel like you can rely on him. He's the type of person that you feel like he can't let you down, and you know that he's a very hard worker, and he proves that in this episode that he's in his 3rd year. And the one bad thing about sports anime, aside from death, some bad things in other series, they have death. In sports anime we have 3rd years, and that means 3rd years have to leave eventually, and he is unfortunately a 3rd year, and he is practicing really hard so that he can be chosen for the 17 members that can be put on the field. 11 members on the field, and about 6 of them are substitutes, so that they can start playing Intern High. Now, I did mention before, I believe it was like at least the 1st or 2nd episode, that Days is kind of different in terms of other sports anime and sports manga, where I believe I said it's kind of fast. It started off with, especially the training camp already started in episode 2, whereas other sports anime series, you won't see the characters, the teams go into a training camp till possibly in the early teens to late teens, and then they start going into their Inter High or something of that sort, or they go to their Inter High later episodes. But they seems to be taking, like, the express train and just shooting off with all of these things that would take a lot more episodes and a lot more development with the characters, so you can get a better understanding of them and the story and how it's playing out. But I like how Days is trying to be a little bit more different in regards to that than other series. So Kasahara, him being a 3rd year, he's trying really hard so that he can have a place in the team for the Inter High, because they have to have 17 members total, so that the 11 that can play and the 6 that can be substituted, and this being his last year, if he does not get picked, he cannot play afterwards. So the reason why he says that is because he claims that he's going to quit after the Inter High, because he's not going to go pro. He's not going to be like Captain Mizuki, who's going to go pro afterwards and get scholarships from all different other places. But we come to find out from Kazuma that the whole reason why he's going to quit, if he gets picked or not, is because his grandmother got sick. So eventually, even if he does get to play for the Inter High, he will still have to leave the school and no longer get to play soccer. And if he doesn't get to play, then it's the same end result, but there's going to be a scar left with him. So we see where he practices a lot with Tsukamoto, and they're practicing together a lot. And then it comes down to who's going to be picked to be, the starting lineup for the Inter High. And everybody gets picked. Of course, Kazuma gets picked. Captain Mizuki gets picked, but he's being put onto the side. And it was building up since the episode started. I mean, no matter how hardworking he is, he's even more hardworking than Tsukamoto and Mizuki combined. It was that build up, and even though you may have saw it, it still came as a shocker that actually, instead of Kasahara Senpai getting picked as the last player for the Inter High lineup, it was actually Tsukamoto who got picked. And Tsukamoto, as well as other members, especially upperclassmen, could not believe that Tsukamoto got picked to be in the lineup. And Tsukamoto's going on saying, I'm the worst player. Why are you going to choose someone that cannot play, that cannot kick a ball? I'm going to drag the team down. You should have picked Kasahara Senpai. But the one thing that the coach said was, and he did repeat it in the episode, is that I chose the best and strongest team possible. And it goes on to, it came very fast that they started the first game of the Inter High between their school and another school. I don't think they even said the name. And Kasahara Senpai, even though he wasn't picked, and he told Tsukamoto, come meet me on the field. Usually people, when you hear that, you're thinking something bad is about to happen. But actually, he goes on to try to train Tsukamoto to become better, so when the day comes for them to start playing, he has a chance and doesn't mess up while he's on the field. But before he does that, you see him really crying in the bathroom because this was his only chance, and him not playing, like, this was his one ticket final shot, and he was not picked to play on the field, and you could just feel the sadness. You just felt for Hasabara senpai. So the game starts, is very fast, and right now the team is pretty lacking. Even the coach saying that when they're playing, it's like they're running through mud. It's a very stiff and very slack type of game, something that we did not expect at Seiseki soccer team, because how they talk about how this school is so grand, and this school is like one not to be messed with. Their spirits are kind of down, and I guess it has to reflect with what the positions of the players. And we have Tsukumoto, he's cheering them on, and to the point that the coaches said, you go on the field now. They substitute him out with a different senpai, and he says, you go in. And this guy lifts up everybody's spirits. He's like, he doesn't remember what the coach says, but he says, all I want to do is win. And instantly, what the little flame that was flickered out, he re-blew it up again. And Tsukumoto, despite him being the worst player, him constantly telling himself, I'm the worst player, but at the same time, the only thing that I can do is that I can run. I know that I'm not the best player. I never had a goal set in mind. I didn't have friends. But now I have something that I can hold on to, and even if I'm not really good at it, for the time being, all I can do is run. And that's what Tsukumoto does. He continuously runs, and they end up winning the game. One thing I didn't like about it was that they didn't really focus on the game. They really focused more on the motivational and how he inspired the team, which is good, but I wish we got to see a little of the plays, because I want to see like how Cosmo really gets into the play. But they did win the game, the first game of Intern High, with a penalty kick. And we also got to see where Tsukumoto, he was on the train, he was talking to Ubu Kata, and she was telling him, you got picked on the team, so don't try to dwindle their inspirations, all their morals for you, because you represent the whole team. And she goes off, being her tsundere self, she goes off and shows him a video that was taken of him motivating the team while they were on the field. And then he ends up meeting Saku Highs, who is the rival of Seiseki's high school. They are the rivals. So right now the captain is having his eyes set on Tsukumoto. After seeing that video, he has his eyes set on him, and I want to see how that goes. Either he has his eyes set on him, or like what he can potentially do if he thinks that Tsukumoto may be a threat to when these two schools actually match up, whether it's in the Inter High or another type of championship. So it was a really good episode. I just wish they got more into the plays, but I know for certain they're gonna go directly into it come later episodes. So I cannot wait for that. If you saw this week's episode of Days, do tell me in the comment section below on what your thoughts were on it and how you felt about it. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!